There is a specific method that transforms any contaminated water into pure drinking water. It works for muddy water, river water, and even seawater completely full of salt. No filter is required for this. No chemicals are needed. No electricity is used at all. It relies solely on the energy of the sun in a single piece of plastic wrap. This process eliminates all types of bacteria. It removes all heavy metals found in the water. It produces water that is 99% perfectly pure. A Hungarian scientist built this device during World War II and saved the lives of hundreds of American pilots stranded at sea. The United States military ordered 100,000 units. Then the war ended and everything changed from that moment on. A $35 billion water filter industry was born, an industry that sells plastic cartridges you have to replace every month. It is an industry that charges $80 for a single portable filter. It is an industry that needed you to forget what the sun already does. They didn't stop using this method because it stopped working. They stopped using it because it worked too well. It is a purification method that works without permission or payment, one that cannot be patented, and one that cannot be controlled or resold. This is the full story of the forgotten device called a still. This is the solar still that kept soldiers and pilots alive at sea, and it is the one the water filter industry begged you not to find. This is your vault of knowledge. Here is where we unearth the information the outdoor industry buried. In 1941, World War II ravaged Asia. American pilots were being shot down in the open ocean weekly. Hundreds of airmen survived crash landings in the Pacific, but they did not die from their injuries, from sharks, or from the cold. They died of thirst, surrounded by water they could not drink. The ocean is the cruelest paradox any survivor can face. Salt water will dehydrate your body faster than if you drink nothing at all. The military needed a solution that was small and light, something a single downed pilot could carry inside a life raft. So they turned to a brilliant scientist named Maria Telkes. She was born in Budapest, Hungary in 1900. She was a physical chemist who had been obsessed with the power of the sun for years. She joined the MIT research team in 1939. Her own colleagues gave her a legendary name, the Sun Queen. The United States government gave her exactly one mission: to convert deadly seawater into safe drinking water using only the sun. She designed an inflatable plastic device the size of a balloon. You poured seawater into it and the sun heated it through the plastic. The water evaporated upward, leaving all the salt behind. The vapor then condensed on the cooler surface inside the device and dripped into a collection tube as perfectly clean water. It was a small device that produced a full quart of fresh water every day. No batteries were needed, no filters, no chemicals, and no moving parts. It was enough clean water to keep a person alive for as long as necessary. The Office of Scientific Research ordered 100,000 units. But here is exactly where this incredible story turns strange. MIT, the university, kept delaying the production of these units. They kept changing manufacturers and arguing over every detail. By the summer of 1945, not a single unit had been shipped. The war ended and the soldiers never received Maria's invention. Maria Telkes received a certificate of merit for her great work. Her solar still finally ended up in military emergency kits, but it never became what it should have been for all of us: a basic tool in every home and survival kit on Earth. Stay with me because the science behind this will surprise you. This is just scratching the surface. There is a whole collection of knowledge about what the outdoor industry hid from the people. This includes fire techniques that military units used and then classified, emergency shelters that cost nothing and outperform expensive tents, natural insect repellents that tribes have mastered for centuries, water purification methods that don't need filters or power, and preservation methods that work without any fridge or electricity. The science behind solar distillation is elegant and very simple. It perfectly replicates the same process that creates rain. The sun heats the water on the surface, and that water then evaporates. The vapor rises and hits a much cooler surface above. It condenses back into liquid form. The result is perfectly pure. All contaminants are left behind, including bacteria and viruses, every heavy metal particle, and every grain of dissolved salt. This is the same natural process that has been cleaning this planet for billions of years. Maria Telkes demonstrated this inside her own lab on the MIT campus. Her device converted ocean water, with 30,000 parts salt into purified water, with barely a single part per million remaining, that is a 99% total purification achieved. A life straw filter only removes 99% of bacteria, but a life straw cannot remove salt, heavy metals, or chemicals. A solar still removes absolutely every one of those things because distillation is not just filtration, it is transformation. Water changes physical state from liquid to gas and back again. Nothing else survives that journey and nothing else accompanies it. Here is where the figures become truly disturbing. A portable water filter, like the Sawyer Mini, costs $30 and filters 100,000 gallons. That sounds reasonable until you realize that a solar still built with a trash can and plastic wrap costs nothing. It costs $0, has zero replacement parts, and has zero expiration date. New Mexico State University tested homemade solar stills built from simple household materials. Seawater with 30,000 parts per million of salt was purified to just 1 part per million. That is 99.9% pure drinking water from waste materials and sunlight. A solar still with 6 square feet of surface area can produce up to 4 liters of clean water a day. That is enough water for drinking and cooking for a family of 4 using nothing but the sun. Researchers at the University of Texas took this further in 2021. They developed a hydrogel that increased the distillation rate to 12 times above commercial models, producing 30 liters of clean water a day from a single square meter. The science is not theoretical. It is proven and can be found in peer-reviewed journals right now. But here's the question that should infuriate you. Why is a solar still not standard equipment in every camping kit sold today? Why is it not taught in every survival course? Why does every outdoor retailer promote $40 life straws and $80 Cadet filters instead? It is because the global water purification market is worth $35 billion a year and is projected to reach $63 billion by 2032. Companies like Brita, LifeStraw, Sawyer, and Pentair sell filters and replacement cartridges. The business model depends entirely on one thing that you come back to buy. A Brita filter lasts 2 months, then you buy another, and another, and another forever. A reverse osmosis system costs hundreds of dollars to install and $50 every 6 months for membranes. A portable camping filter needs replacement cartridges for $15 to $30 each. Now compare that to a solar still, a piece of plastic, a container, a stone, and sunlight. There are no replacement parts, no cartridges, no membranes, no subscription, and no expiration. You build it once and it works until the plastic breaks. Then you replace the plastic for a few cents. You cannot build a $35 billion industry around something that costs nothing. You cannot patent sunlight. You cannot patent evaporation. You cannot patent condensation. And what you cannot patent, you cannot monetize. So the industry did what industries always do. They made the simple solution invisible and made the expensive solution seem essential. They marketed fear through bacteria counts, protozoa warnings, and heavy metal statistics. These are all real dangers, but they can all be fixed with a piece of plastic in the sun. But a terrified customer is a paying customer, and a customer who knows about solar distillation never returns. The first solar stills were used over 2,000 years ago in the Andes. In 1872, a solar distillation plant was built in Chile to supply an entire mining town. It covered 4,000 square meters and produced 22 cubic meters of fresh water daily. That plant operated for 40 years without electricity, without chemicals, and without replacement parts. That is 40 years of clean water from sunlight alone. During World War II, Maria Telkes proved that this concept fits inside a life raft. 200,000 units were ordered. The science was proven and established. Then came the post-war consumer economy, and suddenly there was more money in selling filters than in teaching people about the sun. This is exactly what you need to do. You need a large container, like a trash can, a bucket, or a wide bowl. You need a smaller collection cup or jar that fits inside the larger one. You need clear plastic wrap, not colored or opaque, but transparent so sunlight passes through. And you need a small stone or weight. Fill the large container with the dirty or salty water you want to purify. Place the collection cup right in the center of the large container. Make sure the water level stays below the rim of the collection cup. Cover the entire top tightly with plastic wrap. Seal the edges so no vapor escapes. Place the stone in the center of the plastic wrap directly over the cup. The stone creates a slope so the condensation flows toward the center and drips into the cup. Place the setup in direct sunlight and wait. The sun heats the water and it evaporates. The vapor rises and hits the plastic. The plastic is cooler, so the vapor condenses into droplets on the surface. The droplets follow the slope created by the stone and drip into your cup. In 2 to 4 hours, you will have clean drinking water. In a full day of strong sun, you can collect up to a quart or more. Build several stills if you are camping with a group and rotate them. Line the bottom with black material to absorb more heat and increase production. Add green leaves or plant material to the water as an additional source of moisture. A trash can, a piece of plastic, an afternoon. You get unlimited clean water without the need for a filter company. This method did not disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because it works too well and costs too little. Maria Telka spent her entire life chasing the sun. She built the first solar-heated house in 1948, created solar ovens for developing countries, and developed materials for the Apollo space missions. She held over 20 patents and died at age 94, still believing in the sun. Her solar still saved pilots. You could save campers, hikers, families, and villages, but you were never taught anything about it because a piece of plastic in the sun cannot generate quarterly revenue. This knowledge did not die. It was waiting for someone to open the vault. If this story changed the way you think about survival and the industry surrounding it, subscribe and like this video. We are dedicated to uncovering the history and truths that they have tried to bury. Let's build a more self-sufficient future together. The next vault of knowledge will open very soon, and what is inside is even more significant.